Senator. I'm a lifetime Republican and have usually voted Republican. However, this year I didn't. And the main reason I didn't was because of the Republican platform that said no tax increases even for those people that make over $250,000. I think that is really a problem in the Republican Party, having that platform. I know you have said, and the Republicans have said, oh, we want to really support small businesses. I think it's important to support small businesses too, but there's a lot of people here that are in small businesses, and I don't think any of us in small businesses here have a bottom line where we're making over $250,000. And I don't think that raising the tax rate on a small business that's making over $250,000 is really going to negatively influence those small businesses.
Absolutely. In fact, I have a couple slides on that, but I'll just run through it. So if we raise tax rates on individuals and couples, individuals that make 200 or couples 250 collectively, then that would raise over the next decade about $442 billion. So roughly $40 billion a year. We obviously, if you put that in the perspective of 1.2 trillion, that's a very small piece. What I have said, my concern about the tax rate increase, and by the way, when I ran in 2010, this was an issue in my election, and my opponent thought that we should increase them, and I didn't think we should because of the small business impact. So, I mean, this was an issue that obviously I had a lot of discussion about in the campaign when I ran. So, that $442 billion raising tax rates, just to put it in perspective, a lot of companies in New Hampshire are subchapter S or LLCs. And if you, as opposed to incorporated, the corporate rate right now, we have the highest in the world, it's 35%. This would bring those subchapter S to 39.6% is where it would take that rate if we brought it up. If you look at the small businesses nationally, it hits about 1 million small businesses. Subchapter S LLCs who haven't incorporated like a big company. That's why you see a lot of the big companies saying, yeah, please raise the rates, because it doesn't hit the corporations, it hits a lot of LLCs and subchapter S. And Ernst & Young looked at this, said that it would cost us 700,000 jobs nationally, that it would, a quarter of our workforce, I'm talking about 25% of the people that work in this country, work for those small businesses that would get a tax increase from this. So, and I've met a lot of them in New Hampshire. It's not that they're overly wealthy people. They may have 10 employees, and they're putting their money back into their business for investment, for future equipment, for expansion, hopefully to put some more people to work. So what I have said I would be willing to do, I'm not for raising those rates. What I am willing to do, like many other people have said in Washington, is I think we can do tax reform. And we can generate revenue from that if we do it right 2 ways. Simplify our code. We can hopefully do it in a way that we don't hit those small businesses, so we're thinking about economic growth, but we can also get revenue from it. If you eliminate a deduction or a loophole, you can focus on the upper income individuals, and you can do it in a way that it's still tax money coming in the code. Let's face it, it's upper income individuals who rely more heavily on deductions. And so that's my view of how we should do it, because I think where we are with this economy, it would be foolish to not think about those small businesses. So I hear what you're saying about small businesses, but it does hit a fair number of small businesses. The estimate on New Hampshire from this study was about 3,500 jobs. So I appreciate your point. I am not against finding ways to make sure that we deal with the revenue side. I would just like to see us do it by simplifying our tax code, which, by the way, is out of control. So, and it's another, I think, productive way where we can do it. And this is the type of way that the Simpson-Bowles Commission that the president had, they didn't recommend raising rates, they recommended eliminating loopholes, simplifying, and taking a portion of the revenue. Even the so-called Gang of Six you might have heard about in Washington that work together across the aisle, they've also looked at that as a way to do it as well. So that's my position on it.
So to clarify, you don't want to raise Bush tax cuts on, or you don't want to see the expiration of the Bush tax cuts on the top 2%.
Yeah, we're all set here,
Thank
leave
you.
that.
I'm sorry. I'm
Can I
Please,
just have a quick follow-up?
Of course,
Yes.
that's fair.
I agree that the other things are important too, but I still really don't think, and I think most of the people in this room would agree, that raising taxes on businesses, again, we're talking bottom line, that they've got a profit, it's not a profit.
It's not a profit, it's,
Yes, it is a
well,
profit.
a lot of that,
Bottom line is what you're talking. Bottom line on the tax return, I do taxes. Bottom line on the tax return of $250,000. Any company that's making $250,000 on their tax return can afford to have a little increase and can afford to pay a little more into the government.
and I think that people who as individuals who are making that, as opposed to taking the money and reinvesting in their business, which is what people do in terms of equipment and keeping a business sustaining. You know, I'm married to a small business owner, I know how this works. Not worried about us, but I'm just saying that this money goes back to buy more equipment and expand. And also, if you have less money, is it gonna put you in a position where you can give your employees a raise this year? Are you gonna put you in a position where you're gonna hire that extra employee? I mean, those are legitimate concerns, and not just mine, I think of economists. And by the way, if we can simplify the tax code, I know we're not gonna put you out of work, you'll still have plenty of work to do. We can simplify the tax code, and I think you would agree with me, there's
it's the tax guys that are making all the money.
plenty of areas where deductions are focused on upper income individuals that they'd pay more on that, but we get the revenue too, so it's a different way to get revenue, and we can still do it.
We'd like to get a couple more questions
Yes.
again. But I gotta put my 2 cents in as a small business guy. I really hate to see any added taxes on small businesses. I mean, when you look around Coos County today, you know, we don't have a 7% unemployment rate. It's probably closer to 12. 20, according to Larry? I mean, we have an out-migration of jobs. I wanna leave some money on the table for guys like Roy Amy, so he can put another truck on the road. I want gasoline prices down. I want small business to make plenty of money, so they got money left over, so they hire me and you and put other people in the county back to work. And I hate to say that, but the most important thing in this county is jobs, you know? We've gotta maybe stop spending as much, but taxes,
We gotta spend.
I
Amen,
think
stop
that-
spending.
I think we gotta stop
I mean-
spending, and we gotta stop taxing guys like Roy and various other small businesses. In any case, I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to say anything.